Hi there, this is Craig Beck from StopDrinkingExpert.com. Welcome into today's video. I want to talk about a strange disorder, certainly got a strange name, wet brain syndrome. And unlike many other conditions that drinkers and alcoholics suffer with, this one you can't really guess what it is or work out even how it affects you from the title. It's not like alcoholic hypertension, for example, where you can pretty much work out what's going on. Wet brain syndrome. What is it? What does it do? How would you even know if you have it? So that's what I want to talk about today in the video. And of course, before we go any further, I'll remind you that I'm not a doctor and I'm not here to give you medical advice. What I am is a coach who used to have a problem with alcohol. And I fixed my own problem and now I help thousands of other people to do the same thing. So this video on my website, StopDrinkingExpert.com, is not a substitute for professional medical assistance. Okay. Now, if you find these videos helpful and useful, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below because it helps get the word out there and spread this message. Because there are millions and millions of people around the world in misery because of this drug that the whole of the Western world has collectively agreed is just a bit of harmless fun. More than that, if you don't drink it, you're boring. It's weird. We are in a complete bubble of insanity around alcohol in the Western world. And we've got to get the message out there to try and help people. So, what is alcoholic wet brain syndrome? So, you may have seen this before and you didn't know that it had a name, it had a title. You know when you see an alcoholic and even if they're not drunk, they're kind of stumbling, they have poor coordination, maybe they have droopy eyelids, they're, one eye's open, one eye's closed, they're slurring their words, they seem confused, they're telling you stories that you know aren't true, but you can tell that they absolutely believe them to be true. Or perhaps they're demonstrating memory problems. I have a very close member of my family who is a heavy drinker, and she will tell a story, get to the end of it, and then tell the same story over again. If you wait a few more minutes, she'll start to try and tell the same story a third time. You're always having to stop her and say, "You've told that story." Yeah, we know. Now, if you don't know what's going on there, it's easy to just ignore it or put it down to some other condition. You could say, well, I'm getting older, that's why I'm getting forgetful and so on and so on. But actually, wet brain syndrome is serious. In fact, it is potentially fatal. And what it is, it's so simple. It's like scurvy. Back in the day, when sailors used to go to sea for many months at a time, they would get ill and die. And it was purely down to the fact that they weren't getting any vitamin C. And so they got a condition called scurvy. It's as simple as that. And that is exactly what wet brain syndrome is. It is a deficiency of a specific vitamin. And in this case, it's thiamine or vitamin B1. And if you go long enough depriving the brain of this essential vitamin, then you're going to start seeing some complications. And they start off mild, slight lapses in memory, a little bit of confusion, and getting confused in situations that you shouldn't really. But then if you carry on drinking without supplementing the imbalance, those signs and symptoms of alcoholic wet brain are going to get worse and worse and worse. And you can end up with seizures, coma, unconsciousness, and death in the end. Because this is a vitamin that's essential to brain function. And if you damage certain areas of the brain, it has a huge knock-on effect to very significant areas of your body. If you think about it, everything that really counts, everything that really matters, your respiration, the beating of your heart, how you ingest food, is all controlled from up here. Our subconscious mind is running all these tasks in the background so we don't have to think about them. Millions of things at any one time. So, not everything to do with the heart is happening in the chest. And so if you damage an area of the brain responsible for another key area of the body, you can have serious problems. So alcoholic wet brain can progress and advance sufficiently to the point where you get liver damage because of it, and so on and so on. So it's caused by a deficiency of vitamin B1. And there are various reasons why problem drinkers are not getting enough of this vitamin. Firstly, alcohol interferes with the absorption of many nutrients. And when you come to a quit drinking boot camp with me, towards the end of the day, we go through a huge list of supplements that you should be incorporating into your post-drinking routine, just to get your body sorted out after all the years of abuse. And I give you the big list that I did when I quit drinking. And certainly on there, B vitamins are really, really high up the list. So alcohol's been there and it's been damaging your absorption of all these vitamins. But the other thing with drinkers is, as you know, drinkers don't tend to make the best decisions when they're drunk. You know, when you're in that routine of problem drinking, you're not necessarily really considering your health and well-being. You're not making great decisions about the quality of food you're eating. Certainly, when I was a drinker, the meal came secondary. All I was focused on was drinking. And so I would grab, one of those plastic microwavable meals, I have that, and then I'd grab a bag of chips to eat while I was watching TV with my bottle of wine in my hand. And generally, this routine of poor quality nutrition. And that's very common. But the other thing is, drinkers tend to choose alcohol over food. And so, given a choice, they'll go with the alcohol. And then the alcohol can interfere with your satiety control and cause all sorts of problems. Now, it's not only drinkers who get wet brain syndrome. Some other people, some sober people can get it as well, but it is rare. Examples of non-drinkers who can get wet brain syndrome are expectant mothers who are going through a prolonged period of morning sickness. So if they're vomiting to an extreme level every day, they're flushing the nutrients out of their stomach before they get a chance to absorb them. And as you would also expect, people with eating disorders, bulimia, anorexia, that sort of stuff, those people can also get wet brain syndromes. But it's rare. It's very uncommon. Normally, it's us problem drinkers and alcoholics who suffer with this. But quite often, we miss the symptoms or we mislabel them. Because dealing with this it has to be done promptly. Because it accelerates very quickly. It goes from quite mild to almost deadly very, very quickly, unless you spot it and you correct the imbalance. If you spot this sort of behavior, the forgetfulness, the clumsiness, the slurring of words, stumbling around the place, even when the person's not drinking, you need to get them to a doctor very, very quickly. And I would personally, myself, I would express my opinion to the doctor. I'd say, this is what I think it is. They're a heavy alcohol user, and they've started to do this recently. Because speed is of the essence here. Now, if they're at that point, if they're at the advanced stages of wet brain syndrome, you may think, well, just give them some vitamin B supplement, right? It's probably not going to be enough. If your symptoms are mild and you're just at the start of the symptoms appearing, then perhaps you can start supplementing your diet with vitamin B1. But if you're in an advanced stage, the body can only absorb around 5% of that tablet that you take. It's very inefficiently absorbed orally. So what your doctor needs to do is send the individual to a hospital and get them on an intravenous thiamine supplement. Because if it goes into the blood directly, you get up to 100% of the bioavailability of it. So now you know what it is. Just be on the lookout for the symptoms, because it can be serious. Look out for it in yourself and in other people you know who drink. If you are a drinker and you're not currently planning to stop, I would strongly encourage you to go to my website and have a look through the supplements that I recommend you take. Certainly get a broad spectrum multivitamin into your daily routine. Get some extra B vitamin complexes in there as well, because alcohol is particularly aggressive on these really important brain supplements. Okay? If you are worried about your drinking, let me tell you something really clear. Problems with alcohol never get better on their own. It is the nature of the drug. It's like quicksand. It slowly gets worse. And so if you're worried now, you're only going to be more worried or in a more treacherous situation if you leave this. So I encourage you to take action today. Don't use willpower. Don't try and do this on your own. Get some help. Go to AA, go to rehab. Use my online course if you want to do this in the privacy of your own home. Go to stopdrinkingexpert.com. Sign up for today's free webinar, and I'll give you a copy of my book, Alcohol Lied to Me, free as a gift for turning up. Also, one more thing to mention. If you prefer the one-to-one approach and you want to come along to the most effective solution to problem drinking I've ever created, go to the website now, stopdrinkingexpert.com, and find out where my next quit drinking boot camp is. This year we've got Chicago, London, Dublin to come, New York as well. So lots of options, but we only ever have 20 people maximum. So they always sell out. Go to the website right now, stopdrinkingexpert.com, and reserve your place. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel, like and comment below, and I'll see you very soon.